Good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm very excited about this session because I want to make it as practical as possible for you, and I want to help remove a headache for you. Many of you on this call are speakers or international speakers, or you are someone who present to other people, or you're a trainer, or you're a person in the boardroom that needs good slides for a pitch. But having a well fleshed out and thought through presentation is very important. And what me and Mike see a lot of times is that there's a lot of people who's got a very good structure. In other words, they know what they want to say, but the slides are not that good. So I've discovered Canva many, many years ago, but I can tell you it's been a game changer in the past 6 months. And I'm specifically going to take you into Canva today, which is the main tool that I use to build these presentations. But before I do that, let me just show you a little bit of one of my latest keynotes. I've used this one at the Global Speaker Summit in Bali, and I've now used it at the German convention again. And people seem to like the slides. So I'm using this one as an example. I'm going to quickly run you through that. Let's just do that so that you can just get an idea of the type of stuff I'll be showing you to build today. So I'm just going to quickly run you through it. Okay. So that's just an intro video, right? I'm not going to go through the whole thing. And then I basically have a disclaimer in the beginning of this keynote because it's quite disco. At the Global Speaker Summit in Bali, some people came back to me and said they had to leave the room because, it was so much for them. And, there's disco and flashing lights, whatever. So, but, I have my disclaimer here. I say it may be sensitive to photosensitive individuals. So, I'm just going to quickly go out of here because there's a few people who want to be admitted still. It's funny. It sounds like when they say admit people, it sounds like admitting them to hospital. Okay, so we have a few joining there. I'm just going to do my share again. Just let me know, please, with a thumbs up that you all can properly see here on the screen. Okay, so I just put that in as a disclaimer, and I have to say these days you want to be aware of these disclaimers. If you think your keynote can offend anyone in the audience in terms of sound or light, whatever, rather have it in the beginning than as opposed to feel afterwards, you've offended someone, because otherwise they focus so much on them being offended and they're missing the whole keynote, the whole message of the keynote. So this is basically, I'm just going to put it in play again so you can quickly see. So you can see this is the title of the keynote. And then I'm just quickly taking you through that. You'll see there's a lot of video in this keynote. There's a lot of visual in this keynote. And I tried with this keynote to really bring a message across that's, I can almost say, non-verbal. In other words, I speak, but there's a lot of non-verbal messages in the background with this as well. You see, so yeah, I talk about you forget who you are. So you sort of try and make it feel like the person's swaying and they distort it, So trying to match and mirror the feelings, like if we forget who we are, our hearts stop, that type of thing. And then I introduce myself. Notice I don't introduce myself in the beginning because that's just boring, Many times you've already had an introduction by someone and you're already positioned, you've already done an introduction video, so you don't want to go on too much about yourself. But I do introduce myself a little bit later into the keynote. And then, yeah, you can see I start with my story. I just have some sound there where a person's asked me to become a spy, and I said no. And then it led me to that. That's how I feel. And then some visuals here about me standing in a shower one day and a prayer. And then my life changed and all that. Go around the world, and that led to the excellence formula. So you can see a little bit of a structure here. And then I start using slides like that, a person dancing. First principle. That's a vacuum cleaner that I use for people to get rid of their thoughts. You like that one, Agnes? It's so funny you build these keynotes and you think people's going to come and say, oh, I really like that part or like that part, but the vacuum cleaner is quite popular because I guess it's practical. Then I have another slide here. Just notice here something. I've got 3 principles and we'll get to that at some stage. But number 1 looks like this. Number 1, the first principle start with a white slide, a white background slide, and then it looks like this. And then, sorry, the vacuum is set to go, so I can't actually, there's the vacuum going. So notice that the second principle have the same feeling to it, right? So it has also got this white slide, and then you basically get to the principle again, same feeling. You see there's consistency starting there. Actually, what a lot of people do is they have their slides, and then the first principle, the second principle, or the third principle is all different things. So consistency is lost in the presentation. Then I just use this. Then the third principle, again, I used the black and the white background. And then I just explain here the difference between flying with a group and without. And then again, looks the same there. And then end of the keynote. There you go. So that is just giving you an idea of the type of slides that you can be looking at. People seem to like these slides. So I'm going to now take you through that. Now, I want you to come with me into Canva because, gosh, Canva is the secret. It is actually the best thing since sliced bread. I can't tell you when I discovered what Canva can do for us. So what you'll see here is the entire keynote in Canva. And what I like about this is that you do a keynote and then you save it. And then you go and look for the keynote later. And then you have changed the keynote, and then it becomes so confusing in terms of just saving it and finding it. That's already one of the things, you know, you have all these versions of your presentation, or all these versions of your training presentation, all these versions of your webinar. Whereas with Canva, what I like is that everything is in one place. So the principle that I use here with Canva is I save them all in Canva. So, and every time I do a new keynote, and if I need aspects from the previous one, I rename them. So I can literally go into my Canva. If you go here to Canva, you can see there, you know, for example, I have the keynote there today as the Global Intelligence Update because I'm sharing that with you. But you can see that, you know, here, if I go full sentence, here's the keynote for Germany. Here is the keynote for the Global Speaker Summit in Bali. You know, I just build them all in Canva. They all like yes, they all lie here. So, and that's why I can really easily find them, you know. So, and everything is just here together. And you can even open a folder that basically is just your keynotes. Like I've delivered a group coaching recently, Jeffrey, that you were part of. And, you know, here in keynote is those 2, you know, ones that I've developed for that training as well. So, I mean, whether it's training slides or keynote slides, you can see they're all there. It's easy for me to go and find them, you know. Recently we did Trend 2035 event. There's the keynote for that. You can just stand on it and you can see the keynote slides going through. So going into that one quickly, you can see it's a whole different vibe again. This one had me basically standing. You can see the globe spinning there behind me. And then I basically just went here into the keynote. It's a whole different type of look again, but all built in Canva, all built in Canva. Okay. So now we're going back to the one that I just shared with you, because it's a global intelligence update one that I've got there for you, so we can change it around. Now, before we build a keynote, there's a few things I want you to consider. And I'm going to refer today a lot to a keynote, but I'm really talking about any presentation, any presentation. The first thing you have to consider is the topic. And it sounds strange, but many people go and they find a template and then they build around the template just because they like the template. They maybe got a nice template in PowerPoint, or they got a nice template in Keynote, or they got a nice template in goodness knows where, SlideShare, whatever. And then they let the template dictate what the keynote is going to look like. Whereas I'm saying, I would advise that you let your topic dictate what the theme, what the keynote's going to look like. So let's say your topic is, in my case, excellence, but I'm going to use something else. Let's say your topic is wellness and your skin, right? So that's what you've decided. So you're going to build a template that speaks to people from a wellness and skin point of view. But here's a big secret of mine that very, very few people do. You would think in your mind it would make sense if you're going to do a presentation on wellness and skincare, that there's going to be a lot of images and pictures in your presentation that's to do with wellness and that has to do with skincare. Yes, but I want you to add a theme to that as well. So let's say your topic, number one, is wellness and skincare. What really make a presentation stand out and what's a cut above the rest is to attach a theme to the topic as well. So let's say your theme is wellness and skincare, or the topic is wellness and skincare. Your theme may be frogs, or your theme may be plants, or your theme may be grass, or your theme may be water. Why is that important? Because that's what's going to make people remember you. You know, there's a lot of people out there who does presentations on skincare and wellness, but it is that theme that you choose that's secondary that really, really stand out. So for example, you can see in this keynote of mine that the topic is excellence. So I am pulling excellence right through here by actually mentioning the circle of excellence, which is our logo. I'm putting through proof of excellence by giving some of my awards and accreditations. I'm also showing excellence in the quality of the slides, but that's not enough. I need a theme. So the theme I've chosen throughout this presentation is disco. And the reason I chose this theme as disco is when I first, so you can see the color here, look at that color. And you can see the disco, how it actually, you can see that disco coming through. You can see the disco colors here again. You can see the disco colors here again. Now note that disco colors is not part of our corporate colors. These are our corporate colors. So that's all part of my topic. But I chose the disco colors because I'm dancing in this keynote. And so that's why I went with the disco. And the reason why I started with this idea of disco is I presented this keynote for the first time at Bali. And the logo we've invented for Global Speaker Summit Bali had this Paradiso disco colors. So I've aligned the theme of my keynote actually with the corporate identity of the audience I was going to present to. The theme of the event was disco, so I aligned it with that. So that is something you can do as well. And that makes people, that brings to the party the match and mirroring effect. You see, if I were only going to use my corporate colors in this presentation and not something that's aligned to the audience, the matching and mirroring effect is lost. So my corporate colors is invented to give me authority, but that's not enough. The theme that I've invented here, which is the disco colors, is aligned with the theme of the event and the fact that I'm dancing. So that can really make you rememberable. And to be honest, it makes your keynotes much more interesting. It makes your presentations much more interesting because that is going to give you consistency throughout your presentation. So you can see in this presentation, if you look up here, you'll see I have these colors, then I repeat that colors, I repeat the colors, again I repeat the colors, again I repeat the colors. Even with this one, I'm repeating the colors, even though it's in a video. It's the same colors that gets repeated. Here too, it's all to do with your theme. And here's my corporate colors, but then I keep on doing this disco theme. There you go, again, the disco theme. And here what I'm doing, this is one of our corporate colors, this focus, but I'm combining it now with the disco theme. You see here, even I even incorporated the disco ball to show this as the theme I've chosen. So, okay, number one, you've got your topic. You're going to talk about wellness or skincare or communication, whatever. That's great, but it won't keep people's attention. You have to be entertaining in your theme, which is the second thing you choose. The theme is what makes you entertaining. remember when you do a presentation, whether that's for training or talking on stage, whatever, you're competing with other keynote speakers. No, you're not competing with them. You are competing with Netflix. So therefore, you want to have a theme that's really going to grip people and get them very interested. I like it when you choose a theme that's aligned with your essence. And we've spoken about it a lot. So let's say, for example, Moira, you are completely obsessed with porcelain dolls. I'm just giving an example, or with theater masks, you know, you like theater masks, then I'll pull that theme through and stick it to your topic. And I'll give you examples of that. So let's say, for example, I'm going to now go in here into the presentation. Okay, Moira's got a disclaimer in there that says, if you are boring, leave the room now. I think this can be a really, really nice, fun thing to start off with. Very much your personality. People like this stuff. But then you have it there. Now, Moira's going to make her topic, for example. Moira, give me one of the things you like to talk about. Like, give me one of your topics. Just remember to take
emotional anatomy. Did you hear me?
Yep, emotional.
Yeah.
Anatomy. Okay, that's the thing that's done there. So now, unfortunately, it looks like Landi's. Okay, now I'm going to start to show you how you actually work in Canva. Now, many people ask me, is this Canva normal or Canva Pro? This is Canva Pro. I think it cost me around 20 New Zealand dollars a month. But I can't recommend it more. Like, drink less coffee, honestly. Like, I cannot, you know how people recommend software to you, then it doesn't turn out the way they promise it to be. I cannot render. I literally want to get myself a link. I'm busy applying through Canva to get myself an affiliate link because I damn well deserve it. If people go with Canva Pro because of it, because it literally, it's not just about me earning a small commission. It's about you and what it's going to do for your business and how you're going to package yourself and get people more engaged with your presentations. So your secret in Canva is what you see here at the top left, this button, Elements. You go there to Elements and you click on that. And then you'll see there at the top, it says Search Elements. Everyone can clearly see, right? I'm going to do it really slow. You go there into Elements and you search into Elements. Now I'm going and thinking to myself, okay, Moira's topic is anatomy, but it's not just any anatomy, it's emotional anatomy, right? Now, Moira, give me something you really like you are obsessed with masks in theater, or give me something that visually you really like. Anything. Think of the art you would like to buy. Think of the pictures that turn you on. Light. What light?
All kinds of light.
Like rainbow light, or what light?
Yeah.
Make it more specific. Like
okay. The light in the eyes.
Right, so the eye. Okay, I like that a lot. So let's say so you can see I'm typing in here now, anatomy. So now look what it does. Canva gives you graphics in anatomy, photos in anatomy, videos in anatomy, and audio. It can't get better than that. That means you don't have to go and look for photos in this direction, in this location. Now you have to buy photos in that location. Now you have to go and buy videos in that location. Now you have to look for font. Everything is in one place here. So now I want to actually see all the videos here. And I would actually like it to turn like this one here. I like that a lot. So we're just going to quickly get rid of Landi's video there and replace it now with Moira's. Just going to take that out because it's, and now you can see it's going to turn like that as a starting point. I literally just put the video in there. It's like that easy. It's like literally click on the video and drag it out. That's simple. But now she's chosen the theme of eyes. So let's say if I go rainbow eye, what do I get? well, the videos look weird, so I'm going to go back there to photos.
Oh,
I'm going to see, look at this stunning rainbow eye there.
yeah.
So look what I do now. I go, okay, this eye should be behind the video actually. So what I do is I put the eye over everything. Okay. I'm just getting rid of this now. Okay, now I click on the eye. Do you see there at the top, there's a thing that says position. I don't want the position of the eye to be at the front. I want the position of the eye to be at the back. So I'm going to go position, and I'm going to say backwards.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm clicking it until everything comes to the front. But now I can't see my anatomy thing that I've done. So I want to make this thing transparent. Oh, no, I'm on the wrong thing. Let's just go undo.
Oh, yeah. I know how to do those things.
So we go back to the anatomy thing. Okay, there it was. So I want this one to be forward, the video. So I go position. But before I do it, I'm again going to drag this one out. And we'll play a little bit with it now. But it's this layering that makes for stunning slides. So I've got this now at the front. Got this at the front. I'm saying I want this to be backward. Okay. So now what we have here is we've got emotional anatomy. We've got the video, but we can't see the eye. So look what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take the video and I'm going to change the transparency of it from 100, meaning we can't see what's behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Look how my eye is coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Now my slide look like that. So you can see it's about anatomy, the topic. Yeah. But I'm going to take this theme, which is the eye, and I'm going to repeat this theme now throughout. So we've used this eye here. By the time I come here, I may now go and use this eye. So I'm removing that one. And so you can see, even though the whole thing is about anatomy, the theme that we're creating throughout here is a rainbow type of eye. Backwards, so my letters you see. That's how you create stunning. That's how you create it with Canva, these stunning things. So this is really what you want to do in preparation. You want to go and sit and you want to, number one, come up with your topic. With the topic, you want to actually go and flesh out your entire keynote on a piece of paper. Don't go and look at any presentations or templates or anything. You want to flesh it out on a piece of paper first. Close your laptop. Don't even go and throw. The reason for that is you're going to do something very different than any other speakers that I've come across. You're going to first work out your keynote or your presentation on paper, and then build a template that works around what you want to say. What most people do is they look for a template and then they force their message within that template. That is the wrong way to do it. So you're literally going to go on your piece of paper and you're going to say topic, whatever that is, and you're going to go, I want to say this. I want to, for example, open with a very deep statement. Then I want to tell a joke. Then I want to actually give the 3 points. Then I want to do this exercise. Whatever your rhythm is, if we can call it that, you put it on paper. And then once you have that in your head, then again, before you even come to your template, you ask, what is this theme going to be? Do I want to talk about the eye? If I, if my talk is anatomy and light, like Moira said, is something that I'm interested in, why not combine anatomy with the eye? But just having the eye may make me look like a optometrist. So why not make it a rainbow eye? Because I really like light. So you see, there's a lot of creativity, creative thinking that has to go in here. And I find if we go to the templates and the tools before we've thought creatively, we stifle our creativity big time. That's what everyone does. So now you got your topic, you got your theme, and then the last thing I want you to choose before you go to Canva is your color. So of course, you've got your corporate colors. A lot of people make the mistake of only repeating their corporate colors, and it's boring to other people. So choose a color that's aligned with the audience. A great way to really stand out as a speaker or a trainer or a presenter is to find out what the theme is of the conference. So that will create a real match mirroring effect. So let's say you're not at a conference. Let's say you're doing your presentation to a bunch of doctors. I would look at the colors for doctors in the industry, and I would try and match and mirror that, you know. I would use a lot of white if I'm presenting to doctors, and I would maybe, you know, look at what's a color that's quite prominent in the doctor's world, and you can do that on Canva as well. So let's say we put in here doctors, and we enter. Clearly, the color scheme is clearly popping there at you. I mean, you can clearly see that white and blue is the doctor's colors. So I'll go and build the presentation in white and blue to match and mirror them. Why? Because you want them to trust you and you want them to feel safe. Now, your corporate colors may not be black and blue. Your corporate colors may be something completely different, but there you match and mirror it as well. Now, if you look at the presentation I did here for Germany, you can see strangely the German Speakers Association also have the various disco colors that I've used in Bali. So that actually prompted me to keep the same color scheme. If the German Speakers Association didn't have that color scheme, I probably would have looked for something different. Now let's ask you, whose typical audiences you present to? Or what is a typical conference you've been at recently? Claire, shall I use you? Because you're heading for Las Vegas, right? So she's going to speak on the stage in Las Vegas. So let's look at the Las Vegas. If we're going there, you can clearly see there. Las Vegas is sort of the red, the blue, and the white. Now, because of the political environment in America, you have to be careful here, right? If you're going to use blue and red, you want to have equal parts of blue and red in your presentation so that you don't polarize one of your audience. But you can see in Vegas, they clearly use, you can even go and look for the hex codes of the Las Vegas colors because you can match and mirror them. Alternatively, you can use a color scheme like this, which is a little bit more, I would say it's also a little bit more paradiso. You can even use some of the imagery in here. You can, for example, say for your talk, you can use the beach and the palm trees because you're in Las Vegas, right? Okay. So people feel you understand them better by doing that. What other stages are you speaking on, or what presentations are you doing soon so we can look it up for you, the theme and the color? Anyone? Dolby?
Landi, sorry,
Yes.
I don't think my camera is working very well. Oh, it's changed. The colors for Africa, because they are so stereotypical. It's
right.
Black sunset silhouette with the animals in silhouette. Yes.
Now let's see if you can make it more specific for me. What about Africa do you like the most? The animals, the colors, the beading? Give me a specific.
Okay. Yes, I use the beading quite often because then it moves away from, so I talk about the stereotype, I show those stereotypical colors that like that one that was there. But then I move into the beading and then I show images of African cities and things, which for audiences outside of Africa always seem to be quite startling, that everybody's not living in huts.
Yep, exactly. So let's play now with what would the typical name be for your topic? What would your topic be called? What should you talk about?
Lessons from Africa, wisdom from Africa.
And who's usually in your audience?
The people I've done this for recently have actually been for other speaker associations. Yeah, and other kind of networking groups trying to go international, but they don't know anything about Africa.
Okay, so look what we do now here. I'm just giving you an example of how I would have done it. So I would say, and you can do this as well, if you don't have your name on your front slide, but I'll always suggest you have your name on your front slide because people forget. They go, oh, that was such a nice talk, but they forget the name, right? So what do you teach them? What's the biggest pieces of wisdom you would teach them, Charlotte? Just give
A
me
lot
one.
of it, yeah, okay. So a lot of it is changing bias. So there's an assumption about Africa. And so the lesson is, if you've got this wrong about Africa, then what are you getting wrong about your audiences or some other industry that you're working with that you haven't thought through? So it's about challenging biases and cognitive frameworks.
Okay, I'm just using this now as an example. So you can easily, I love it when you customize your front slide to a specific audience, because it feels like you're really considering who's in the audience and that you understand their problems. So I'll take these videos and things out now. This is probably how I would build it. And I'm doing the front slide now, but the front slide tells you, the front slide really sets the stage, right? So you can do something like, you're looking at the beading, and you can see, if we're looking at the colors of the beading, there's definitely that orange, right? So you mark the A for Africa, and you go and look for a nice, you can look for a nice orange. It looks a bit more red, but okay, you get the idea. And then maybe you have a little bit of green, or make it more vibrant. Because, already, because Charlotte said there's different colors in Africa, you can really play with color here in your keynote by using all these different colors. So you see I've got that, and I maybe do that. Whatever you do, you really, really, really want to be aware that people can't see easily from stage. I find keynote fonts and usually, it's too small. It's too small. People can't see what you're doing. So make it big enough so that people can actually see what you're doing. But I'll do something like that, for example, for speakers who assume things about our continent and others. Don't be scared of humor. People like it. If you do this, people already start warming up to you, right? So now you would say, for example, you said beading. Now we look at photos. Let's go all. Press all there, because then you can see the graphic is going to be very, very, very boring, right? I would probably start here again with a video. And now I want to combine wisdom with Africa. So wisdom, I would probably use a person's head. Like I would say African wise women, for example. And I would go to videos. And because we're talking wisdom, you don't want the person to be too young. So let's say elder, African wise elder, because you want people to feel, right? I'm just giving an example here, videos. Do we see people's not expecting wisdom from a child? Now I'm looking here and I'm not really seeing a video that turns me on and make me feel. So now I go, okay, let's go and look at the photos. Let's see if we can get a good photo. Oh, stunning. Like this one. So that talks to wisdom, which is part of the topic. But we don't quite have this theme. Do you see how that eye addresses the audience?
That's lovely.
You can see the eye is really addressing the audience. But we're talking about a continent, and we're talking about beading. And you can also see that the picture I've chosen has taken a little bit of the font away. So we need to be careful of that. So I'm probably going to take the transparency and make it, you see, when you make it less transparent, how it gets darker. So I'm going to do that so we can read it properly. I'm going to probably stop it here on 75. And then, okay, Charlotte said she likes the beading. Now I'm going to go back to the beading. And the beading will probably be the theme throughout this, but you can combine, obviously, the African elders with the beading. You can do that as well. So let's say, in this case, we're going to use a picture. We can even, I would even say, a beading Africa. Maybe we can get the African continent in the form of beading. It helps when you do these things if you make sound. Sounds help.
Ooh, that's lovely.
Which one did you see?
No. I like the one with the squares that look, I'm trying to point
This
it
one.
to you. That one, yes, yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna put that. See, I don't want it on top of his face. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna make this big and cover the whole thing with it.
You could also make it as a banner at the bottom.
You
And then
can.
in the next image, then it fills the slide.
So I'm sending it backwards. Look, now it's behind him. And now we don't quite see his face. I want this transparency to be. There's your slide. And if the beading, yeah, the beading is behind him, you see? So you see how I just play with it? I can literally see it, drag it up and down. I can see what's behind him. And let's see if we make him clearer when the beading goes away, which we don't want to do. So you can play with it. You can see with this one, the beading can be a little bit overwhelming. So you can do a bit of an opacity on the beading as well. And make him stand out more. There you go. So you can do that. Or like you said, you may not want to do that at all. You may want to repeat it. Then you basically just duplicate. You right click and duplicate. We bring the beading back to its normal full color, which Charlotte liked. And look what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to, do you see these things on the side? You wait for the thing to go like that. You drag it in like that. And now basically we just have a banner to put on the side. There you go.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So now you can see what we've done here. We've considered the topic that we're going to speak about, which is wisdom, but we've also chosen a theme. In this case, Charlotte really likes beading, and we're going to use this theme throughout. Now, you don't want to repeat the same stuff you had here. This is a very busy slide, so you don't want your next slide to be that busy, right? So you maybe just going to, here have something where you let them do something, like you have a question here for them. But you don't necessarily want to do the black throughout here because your theme is the beading. So one of the African colors is orange, and I would probably do something like this. More brighter. So now you can see you've got Africa as your first slide, and then you're going into the African colors with the second one. Probably need something more vibrant like this. You can even take this beading banner that you've done there, copy it, and you see, do something like that. So rather than really relying on templates, you build now something that's really got your personality and your thought into it. You can see the white doesn't really stand well on the yellow. So therefore make this black. There you go. Ta-da, ta-da. There's already the start of this presentation. Whole new level, isn't it? Okay, so this is your pre-considerations for when you go in there. Then the dimensions, I'll always keep it the 16 by 9, which is more of the wider dimensions. I feel from a design perspective, you can achieve much more on a wider slide than what you can on a narrower slide. And then what you do, you basically build your entire presentation like this. Now, I just want to give you a few more features in Canva. And I'm just going to change this now back to black. So let's say you've decided you want to do theater masks. Right? Like I said, when you go there to all, you have options. So you can do a graphic. You can say there, you can see, you can click all. You can do a graphic for theater masks. You can do a photo for theater masks. Stunning photo, isn't it? And then we're just positioning it backwards. And you can also do, let's look for a graphic that works better with this photo. Graphic. Now I want this graphic. Oh, see, when I clicked it, it came up magic recommendations. Many times when you go to see all under magic recommendations, they are recommending something they think will go better with what you have there. So let's say I choose this one. And do you see when you design, do you see when I design? Look here, you drag it until it does this, and you can see it's right in the middle. So you want to make sure everything is right in the middle always. And if I drag it here, you see that thing comes up. I won't put it here, I'll put it there in the corner. Helps you to design properly. Okay. And I'm going to use this card as another graphic. And that's now, for example, the logo of the business. Okay. So that's how I've used graphics and images. Now under theater marks, there's photos. We got that. There's videos as well. Now I'll look at the videos. What videos are available? What would work here? Oh, okay. So you can see there's curtains going open and closed. So I think I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to layer it over everything. I'm basically going to see if it works if I make it transparent. So now it looks like that. You can see the curtains is sort of closing over their faces. But I'm going, maybe I can make it a bit more like that. Let's do it again. Okay, so it does that. Now I go, I'm not sure if that really works very well. Let's put the curtains. And I'm just doing it practically so you guys can see a little bit backwards. I want the curtains backwards. And then let's make this one more transparent. And let's see what that looks like. Do you see how you play with this? Now it looks like that. Now I go, I think my curtains needs to be more full blown. I'm going to put that at the back. Now I'm trying to put it there. Okay. And I'll put the picture at the front with my logo I've developed. And now it looks like that. Oh, that's good. You see, that is how you play with it. And then you can always look at what magic recommendations there is for videos. Frames. A frame is really interesting. It doesn't have a theater marked frame. Let's say a mask. Or let's say I just put in frame. And how these works is with the frames, you basically just have a frame like that. And you put it here. And now I can actually put a picture in there. So I go back to photos and theater that I had. And I go, theater. I want to put these two guys with their faces in there. So you see it goes into there. I go, okay, that looks really weird. These two maybe, let me put them in there. That looks even weirder. That in there. Okay, maybe that can work as people. So that's what my slide looks like. So what happens from this point onward, and then I want you to open to questions, is let's go back to the Africa slide. And let's take the beading out at the back. And let's put a video in there. So Africa. And let's say the video we want in there is beading. And maybe it's people making beading. Okay. Just for some movement. We're putting that in the back. And we go position backwards. So now you can say, you can see it's looking like that. So we're just placing it normally there. As you can see, this stuff takes a little bit of a time, but once you got it, you got it. So now if I press it, it's going to look like that. Now a video at the back of someone making their beading, going over the guy. Okay, now what a lot of people do, they go and build their keynote or presentation or workshop. They build it in Canva and then they present it in Canva. And that is an absolute disastrous thing you can do because you are relying fully on Wi-Fi for your presentation to work and you don't want to do it. I've seen speakers doing this and the Wi-Fi doesn't work in the venue and it's a disaster. So to make sure this never happens to you, you are going to download this. So you can either download it, you can go your share at the top. You can download it, you see there, you press the button download. Click. Now you can download it there as a PNG if you want to use it as an image. So we're going to click PNG and I want to download slide number 2. And there you go. Bing. And now this is only downloading as a picture. It's not downloading as a video. But we don't want it as a picture necessarily. We want it as a video. So now you're going to download it and you're going to go there to PM4 video because you want it as a video. You can see the quality can be set there as well. I want it at the highest quality. And I want to download number 2. Please make sure which one you want to download. Otherwise, your entire presentation download and you're going to sit there. And we go down. And that's what I'm downloading. Now it's going to download it as a video. And I'm going to show you now what happens from this point onwards. We're just waiting for it to download. And while it downloads, we make sure that we use your time. So anyone at this stage, I mean, there's so much I can show you. I can keep you literally busy for the rest of your life. But we're developing a slide presentation like this as a whole standalone product. But this is just to get you going, right? To get you going and to actually play around with it, whatever. But the functionality here is just incredible. So this should really be a good foundation for you to start going with. But while I'm here and why I've showed you the basics of how to do this in Canva, please take your audio off and ask any question at this stage so I can help you or show you.
Amazing, Landi. Can I ask, so for GSS, would you have downloaded it all and put it into PowerPoint or Keynote?
One by one, Rob. I downloaded them all one by one and I put it in PowerPoint or Keynote depending on my preferences. And that's where it's quite revolutionary for me because now it doesn't really matter anymore whether it's in Keynote or PowerPoint. What matters now that it's done in Canva. And what's been very useful for that is that me and Mike mostly work in Keynote. But you know, many corporates only want the presentation sent to them in PowerPoint. So then I download it and I put it in PowerPoint. So that's what makes this so wonderful. So I now have many keynotes that's done in Keynote, and I have many keynotes that's done in PowerPoint, depending on what the client wants. But the origin of the keynote sits in Canva. And then
Can you not
okay?
Sorry, can you not download it as a Keynote or a PowerPoint file?
No, not in my knowledge. And the reason why not is because this entire thing here is partially images, partially MP3s. But you may, and I'm just not even aware of it. So if you go here to share and you go to download, what it gives me there as options is just the type of file. So do you want
Here's
it
one
as a
PowerPoint
standard
document.
Oh, these are. Well, I don't know how you would do Keynote. How would you do Keynote?
Or you can then put it into
In
Keynote.
PPTX. If you download everything in PPTX, that will download everything on PowerPoint.
And Keynote can take that
Yeah,
file as well.
and then you just translate it.
Yeah.
So that's something you just have to go and test. That's probably easier. I'm a little bit more pedantic there, meaning I don't trust it. I like to do it one by one by one by one. But I mean, you're probably going to do it and you're going to go, Landi, you're a nutbag. It's so much more easier. I do it literally one by one and it works me better like that. But you're probably right. If you download it as a presentation, it probably will work. But I'll just quickly show you what I do. It's maybe a little bit, like I said, pedantic. But if you go here to my downloads, I literally have now the MP3 here as a video. There you go. That's what it looks like. Really stunning quality. Download it as a video. But if you don't want to use it like that and you only want it as an image, you can do it like that. Now, why I do like doing it one by one, and again, my techie boffins is going to say to me, you're a nutbag, is doing it like this, you can actually build yourself a slide library. That's very useful because once you've got a slide library, you don't always have to redo your front page, for example, or whatever. You can swap videos and images the way you want to because it's already sitting in a library. And I think that can be very, very useful. But in the same sentence, like Claire and Rob said, you can download it as the and just build your keynote that sits on my computer. I like to all my stuff to sit into a software. And the reason why I like it like that is that means you can take my computer tomorrow and all I have to do is I have to go and visit Agnes and say, Agnes, I have a keynote tomorrow. Can I quickly just borrow your computer and download it from my Canva software? That way, I'm never, ever, ever reliant on a computer or my computer gets stolen. So let's say I'm in Las Vegas now and I have to present, and unfortunately on my way there, my computer gets stolen. It doesn't matter at all because I'm literally going to log into my Canva and I'm going to download it from there. And it's really, for me, an incredible risk-adverse way to be an international keynote speaker or a presenter or a trainer or whatever, because your work is actually done in Canva.
So,
So well spotted, Rob. Yes, Agnes, there's a question.
You build your slide library in Canva, not in your computer.
Yes, you build it in Canva, not in your computer. You can literally, if you go here and you click on Canva there at the top, you'll see in Canva a lot of the stuff that we do, meaning me and Mike, sits in our Canva. You can see there's keynotes that sits in there. You can see there is, you know, this is all the stuff here for our private membership club, all the policies and procedures, really. You can see there's social media things. But if you really want to get smart, and that's why I like Canva Pro, is you go here to projects in Canva and you have all your keynotes is in one project. And, you know, all your social media posts is in one project. And all your photos that you've uploaded is in one project, and your whole keynote library is in one project, and you go and start organize. And I think actually that's the future. I think the future is having files and folders on your computer is eventually going to go because everything is in one place. You know, even not, this is now Canva. I mean, the other software we really use a lot is Trello. We do our entire lead magazine with our team in Trello. All the pictures, all the articles, everything gets uploaded in a project in Trello. And that's how we communicate. We don't communicate with the team any other way. They just go in Trello and go, okay, this article is done. And then they leave comments there. And so this project management and design type of things is going to change the world. Now, I think a big reason why Canva is so brilliant and is being upgraded so much is AI. But with the fact that AI, with the speed it's going now, I think we're probably going to get to a point where we're going to say, look, AI, I want you to do all this for me. And that's why today I didn't just show you how this is done. I'm trying to get you to think of how you're going to in future prompt AI. That's going to be, you're not going to sit and do the design yourself. And this is my prediction. You're going to tell AI, using Canva, I want you to consider the following topic, the following theme. I want you to look at the colors of my audience's logo, and then I want you to put in the following structure in there. So what's more even important than me showing you how to do this today is in future how you're going to prompt AI to do it. And that's why I want to give you the how behind the how behind the how, because then you will be able to take your prompt and send it to Canva, and it literally gets designed for you in seconds. That's where I think that's where it's going.
So that's more changing the mindset and how we think about a presentation, right?
Exactly. The presentation is no longer going to be how do I use the software to build a great presentation. It's more going to be, what is my topic? What is my theme? How can I get the audience to trust me? And what tool will be the best for me? And prompt AI on doing all of that. And then the actual work, the how to, will be done for you. It's the input that's the future, not the output. You see, up until this point, we've been really focused on the output, getting a really good keynote presentation. But I think the people whose presentations and messages and everything is going to be the strongest is the people who's thought about it longer. You thought about it for 48 hours, or you thought about it for a month, and that builds a prompt, and then creating it happens in seconds. So if this look a little bit overwhelming for you, don't let it be, because it's still going to be your brain. It's going to develop the prompt. It's still you that's going to be creative. It's still you that decide what is the message I send to the world. It is just the way in which you brief AI and the associated tools that's going to, you know, depend on the quality of the output. So that's more actually the message I wanted to bring across today. Yes, Agnes.
Can I have 2 more questions? One,
Please.
would you say that that the keynote presentations in the future will go more towards entertainment and combining serious message given in an entertaining manner, or in an easy to absorb fun manner?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we got all our content accredited by Education Alliance Finland, and they base their education on what they call, and you're going to have to help me with the word, Agnes, pedagogical standards. Pedagogical, I can't say that word. Piggy what? Pedagogical. I can't say that word. Yeah, I'm
Is it
presenting and I'm
pedagogical?
entertaining. That's I'm presenting and I'm entertaining. But basically what that really means is that you have to captivate the attention of your audience all the time. So they didn't just look at the quality of our slides, and they didn't just look at the content. They looked at your ability to capture and captivate. In other words, is it cultural friendly? You know, if I'm a Black African guy looking at it, am I going to feel included or excluded? If I'm a woman from Belgium, a European white woman from Belgium, am I going to feel included or excluded? Is the people all there in their 20s, or is there people that match and mirror actually your age? And is there people in there that wear glasses versus people who don't wear glasses? And is there people who's more tech-based or professional? All the levels of diversity you can think of, they look at, and then they give you a stamp of approval. Now, that basically also speaks to the entertainment level of the people you're trying to train. So regardless of everyone's opinions, if you look at the accreditation standards out there, the global accreditation standards, and if you look at shorter attention spans and things like Netflix and all those, absolutely, your ability to captivate, entertain, have people's trust, and almost be like a little bit of a Netflix on your own, while bringing a strong message across that inspire and educate, is definitely going to put the one speaker or presenter or trainer a cut above the rest. Think of it as a multi-sensory experience without overwhelming people too much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And the other question would be, how much is too much? Where is the point where the presentation takes away or captures more attention than the speaker?
Well, I think it depends on your audience, you know, and I think it depends on different types of products. So, you know, if you're on a main stage, you are really this big. You're standing there and you're this big, and you're trying to, you know, combine the entertainment value of your slides with the loudness of your voice. If you in a mastermind of 10 people, you don't really want to overwhelm them with all of this, then you would rather want to have a flip chart. So I think you have to really consider, one, your audience, the age of your audience, whether you're speaking to a speaking community or whether you're in a corporate setup. So audience is the short, quick answer. You really have to consider who's the audience you speak to, and you also have to consider yourself. So in other words, if you're very loud and you have a massive presence, then it doesn't matter to me that your slides is loud with a presence as well, because it works together. But if you're quite soft-spoken or whatever, you don't want your slides to overwhelm you. But in the same sentence, if you're very soft-spoken, people may not remember you, but they may remember your slides. So it really depends on what you want. You know, how do you want to come across? I almost want to do a matrix. I almost want to say the matrix have 4 quadrants in there. And the 4 quadrants is you are a soft-spoken person with loud slides, or you you're a loud-spoken person with loud slides, or you're soft-spoken with soft slides. So you have to work out that combination. For me, I like my slides to be loud and me to be loud. because it's the nature of my personality, you know. So I want to go all theater. For me, I bring a performance to the table, like that. I like Moira shaking her head, that it's just the name of my personality. Other people would go, look, I want to have more of a down-toned talk that you know, is really deeper, but then my slides behind me is really crisp and sends a strong message, because I'm maybe a bit more introverted. I want my slides to help me to bring the message, and so on and so on. So that's why that pre-work and knowing yourself and knowing your audience. And I said it again at the workshop at the GSA this weekend, knowing yourself and knowing your audience is going to determine the topic and the theme you're going to use at the end of the day. No one can really tell you, only you can tell you. And then, of course, knowing your audience. Right now, we have come to the end, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I hope this was useful for you. I would highly recommend that you go and listen to the recording, look at it afterwards again, so that you can start and stop and start and stop and then play around. But for what I wish for you is the best presentations, the best keynotes, where people can come after you afterwards and say to you, look, your message was amazing, but how did you do that? How did you do that? So that you actually stand out as a cut above the rest. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. We hope to bump into all of you somewhere in the world at some stage. And just know that we love you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.